Thank you very much. And building on our conversation on Sustainable Development Goals, Mr. Lowake Roy will be giving us a few words on what making SIA and SDG impacts entails. Mr. Low is highly engaged in the public sector in activities and has served on multiple review panels throughout the years. At Shinewing, he has extensive experience across industries for nearly 3 decades. Mr. Low, please come up on stage.
Thank you. Honorable guests, friends, and students. Okay, good afternoon. Today we are talking about sustainability, okay? But I think now, most of people now is always focused on living in the moment, which I don't have, right? But when we are talking about sustainability, I think we need to think a step forward. We need to think about our next generations. This is the futures of us. But as you know, in Hong Kong, we always emphasize that Hong Kong is an economic city, right? It's an international financial center. Okay, so we put commercial, we put economy on the top agenda of every day of our life. And Hong Kong is also one of the major capital markets in the world, you know. Now we have 2,500 listed companies in Hong Kong. So in the past few years, you know that when Hong Kong Stock Exchange has launched the ESG reporting requirement for all listed companies. So you can see that just a few years, every single listed company can comply with an ESG reporting, okay? So that you can easily to download the ESG report on the website, okay, of every listed company. But do they really care about the ESG? Do they really care about the sustainability? It's hard to say. Let me tell you why. Because you know that when we are just focused on sustainability, okay, which is so beautiful and so wonderful, a very good pictures for futures. But if the sustainability cannot be down to earth to become one of the key economy or core value of our economy, it cannot be sustainable. That's true. So that when we think about this, how we can encourage, how we can make sure that the corporations, I mean, all the corporations, is really care about the sustainability, it must be benefit to them, right? A real benefit. So when we are thinking about how we can benefit for the corporations, when we are talking about sustainability, okay? So you can imagine, in the corporations, there are so many stakeholders, right? We have the shareholders, we have the board of directors, we have the investor, okay? Minorities investor. So even the employees as well, okay? So in the corporations, what they really want to need is we need to earn the money, okay, for all the stakeholders. We can maximize the benefit for all the stakeholders. So that if we can connect the sustainability with the corporations in the sense that we can have a real benefit to the corporations for all stakeholders, so that we can find a way. That means sustainability can be grow up. I mean, these cultures can be grow up in the corporations. So that in this year, I mean, the past 2 years, and even in this year, when you review the budget speech by our FS, Mr. Paul Chan, you can see that Hong Kong is really want to make it happen. And green finance, okay, is one of the exit. Why I say so? Because in the past, in Hong Kong, we always focus on the IPO, on the capital market. But we are not so focused on the bonds market. But you know that if we can really to build a strong bond market, I mean the green bond market in Hong Kong, so that every corporations can be benefit. You can imagine, okay, when a company, they want to develop their project, they have many projects, okay, but if they can put the sustainability or green elements in their projects, they can qualify to using the green finance scheme to issue the bonds, okay, so that they can get a very cheap, the money in a lower interest rate, and also there's a lot of green bond investor in the world, so that they will come to Hong Kong to make investment in those projects. And when they get the money, they can develop their projects, okay? So that ultimately they can benefit to all the stakeholders. So that you can see that this initiative, the green financing initiative, has just beginning. It's the beginning. But now, no matter it's the government, no matter it's of regulatory bodies, Now we put a lot of resources and emphasize on how we can make sure that the green finance can be happening in Hong Kong. So if you are connect with some corporations, I hope that you can bring these ideas to them, how we can issue a green finance or issue green bonds in the corporations as well. And so you can see the key strategies plan to develop a sustainable green finance ecosystem in Hong Kong. We need the cooperations, including the government, the regulated bodies, and also the stakeholders of every corporations. So that I hope that today I can bring you these ideas. The green finance is one of the futures of Hong Kong, okay, including when today we are talking about sustainability, we're talking about how we can make our world better or our society better. And green finance as is in Hong Kong as an international financial centers, I truly believe that in the coming few years, you can see that it is one of the very important development and industry in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Low.